What makes a superstar? Talent, luck, timing? Sure. But the one thing that can destroy all three faster than a bad album or a flop tour is your own decisions. Today, we're talking about artists who were this close to legendary status but decided to speedrun self destruction. Some had everything going for them: fame, money, influence, and then for one reason or another, they just threw it away. Others were still on the rise, but one wrong turn, one terrible choice, and it all came crashing down. So grab your popcorn because this is the story of five artists who could have been superstars but ruined their lives forever. Let's start with David. Real name David Anthony Burke. If you were on TikTok in 2022, you couldn't escape romantic homicide. It was emotional, raw, and different from the mainstream trap or pop stuff. It made him an instant Gen Z icon. The type of artist people compared to Billie Eilish meets Triple X Tentacion. Labels were fighting to sign him, and Spotify was pushing him like crazy. Then the dream turned into a nightmare. In September of 2025, a Tesla registered in David's name was found abandoned in the Hollywood Hills. Inside was the body of a 15-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The discovery sent shockwaves through social media. People started digging through his lyrics, his music videos, everything, trying to piece together what happened. Now, to be clear, David has not been charged with any crime, and police are still investigating. But public opinion doesn't wait for facts. Overnight, fans flipped. Concerts got cancelled. His label went silent, and even Spotify quietly removed him from playlists. He went from the next big thing to we don't talk about him anymore in a matter of days. Whether he's guilty or innocent almost doesn't matter anymore. In the court of public opinion, the verdict was delivered instantly, and that's what makes this story so tragic. David had the world in his hands, and now his name might forever be tied to one of the darkest scandals in modern music. Now, R. Kelly's story is basically the ultimate case study in self-destruction. The guy was a superstar. We're not talking could have been. We're talking one of the biggest R&B artists of the 90s and 2000s. He wrote and produced hits like Ignition, I Believe I Can Fly, and Bump and Grind. He helped shape the sound of an entire generation. But behind the music was a horrifying pattern of abuse. For years, there was whispers, underage girls, shady relationships, lawsuits that mysteriously disappeared. The infamous tape scandal in the early 2000s almost ended him, but somehow he kept going. Fans looked the other way, the industry looked the other way, and R. Kelly used that to keep doing whatever he wanted. Well, that ended in 2019 when the truth finally caught up. Multiple women came forward. The documentary Surviving R. Kelly aired, and suddenly the world realized the monster behind the music. He was convicted on multiple counts of trafficking and other things that I would not say. Today, he's serving decades in prison. And it's wild because if he had just not been the person that he was or who he was accused of being, R. Kelly would have gone down as one of the greatest R&B artists of all time. Instead, his entire legacy is radioactive. Radio stations banned him, streaming platforms muted him, and now when people hear his songs, they don't think about love, they think about crimes. That's how fast you can erase decades of success. We have Kodak Black. Kodak Black's story is a little different because technically he's still around, but the phrase what could have been fits him perfectly. When Kodak first blew up in the mid-2010s, he was hailed as one of the most promising voices in rap. He had that unique Florida sound, a raw flow, and a cut-like fan base. Sounds like Tunnel Vision and No Flockin made him a superstar before he was even 20. But KODAK just couldn't stay out of trouble. Weapons charges, prohibition violations, essay allegations. The guy spent more time in courtrooms than in studios. Even when he was pardoned by Trump in 2021, he found new ways to mess things up. Arrests for possessions, DUIs, and constant drama. Every time he starts building momentum, something happens that drags him back down. And that's the frustrating part. KODAK has talent. You can hear it, but being talented means nothing if you can't control the environment, your temper, or your choices. He could have been one of the biggest rappers of his generation, but now he's mostly known for headlines instead of hit songs. He's like that kid in class who keeps getting sent to detention. Everyone knows he's smart, but he never learns the lesson. And finally, we have Gary Glitter, a name that pretty much defines career ruined forever. Now, back in the 1970s, Gary was a glam rock icon. He had massive hits, sold out tours, and stadiums across the world played his music. You've probably heard the song Rock and Roll Part 2. It's that chant that used to play at every sports event. But then came the scandal. In the 90s, well, the late 90s, he was convicted of possessing child stuff. Then again, in the 2000s, for essay in Vietnam. Multiple cases, multiple countries, his reputation was destroyed beyond repair. His music was pulled from films, stadiums stopped using his songs, and now his name is basically forbidden in pop culture. If R. Kelly's downfall was tragic, Gary Glitter's was total annihilation. He went from global flame to complete exile. There's no comeback, no redemption arc, no maybe the fans will forgive him. He's done forever. So, what do these stories all have in common? Every single one of these artists had something special: creativity, charisma, momentum, and they all lost it because of their own actions. Sometimes it's crime, sometimes it's ego, sometimes it's just bad decisions. But it's always ending up in the same type of boat for them. The world moves on, and your name becomes a warning, not an inspiration. The truth is, fame doesn't make you untouchable. If anything, it puts your flaws under a microscope. And in 2025, where every scandal is one tweet away from viral, messing up even once can destroy everything. So yeah, talent might get you famous, but character is what keeps you there.